It's Corinne Fretwell with Soulshift Channeling. I am here for another Pick a Pile Akashic Record reading. This is where I will tune in and open the records and give a collective message, and then also give a number of individual readings that you can choose from. So we're going to do 3 big ones today. There's a collective message at the beginning, and at the end if you would like to tune in, and then red, yellow, or blue, 1, 2, or 3. Those are the messages that you can tune into. I'm trying to remember if I'm going to remember red, yellow, or blue, but I think we will. We'll see on the other side of it. Okay, so I welcome you to join me. I work with the Akashic Records. I channel. This is source-held energy that is between where we are and where God Source Universe is. It's where our higher selves play around. And it's just a beautiful stream of knowing that I really admire and appreciate, because personally it keeps me elevated. It keeps me reaching to source, reaching to God, reaching to divinity, while allowing for individual expression and allowing me to exalt the uniqueness of who I am. So that's why I choose and continue to tune in through the Akashic Records, because it just gives me like the right spot in the gradient. So I offer one-on-one readings via Zoom all over the world, and then I also hold group channeling events, and then do readings for couples, readings for your pet and animal, and readings for business, or if you're shepherding a brand, a property. Just everything has a soul, everything has an Akashic record, and so we can tune into all of those things. And so if you want to continue to exalt and shepherd your relationship with others, and are looking to get a nice energetic tune into that, that's what I do. So would love to see you there. Find more information on my website or by reaching out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say the blessing and prayer that allows me to connect. I invite you to come along and tune yourself along the way. Okay. My center with your center, our center with all centers, our center as the one center. I enter the realm of masters, teachers, and loved ones of Soulshift Collective and match our hearts and minds with theirs. Let us find, through joy and wisdom, the ability to open the universe and ourselves to greater possibility and deeper love. Eternal Source, fill our hearts with clarity and sacred power, and show us Soulshift Collective's place of balance. Hear us now as we become one with the whole. When we are complete, release us in love and admiration, keeping our energy raised. The records are open. Okay, the first thing I see is it's kind of like a sewing machine, but for any of you who are quilters out there, or who know about quilting, when you make a quilt, part of the important piece of it is to top stitch the whole thing. And I'm not sure if that's what quilters would say, if it's called something else in quilter land, but basically you're using a sewing machine to stitch the top, the bottom, and all the filling layers together, which is what makes something quilted. I'm seeing that this is, and then I'm seeing one of the cool things about quilting machines is usually a lot of sewing machines, there are different kinds, but a lot of them really only kind of sew in one direction. Like you can turn the fabric to help make bends, but there are certain sewing machines that are meant to stitch in every direction. Whatever direction that you move the fabric underneath, it can go forwards, backwards, side to side very easily. And it allows you to make really unique patterns and designs. You can do swirls and spirals really easily. And so I'm seeing this messaging here of this is what we're here to do. Like, this is what the purpose of this content and video is. It's to stitch together, to join, to meet, and to bring into adherence our higher selves, our lower selves, and our earthly selves. So reaching and getting our most exalted form, our buried or fragmented is perhaps not the right way to say it, but the part of ourselves that we bury, our subconscious, the part of us that we don't always see, that we don't want to see, and then our earthly form, our physical body that holds it all in one way or another, whether it's through attachment or whether it's through true embodiment, which is when we have enough capacity in our mind, heart, soul, spirit, body to hold all of these realities at once, which is a tall order, you know. Jokes on the tall order because, you know, more space. Although that doesn't have to do with your physical height. So we'll sweep that away. But a reminder that that's what we're doing here is we are stitching together all of ourselves. So when we interact with one another, we can be, the most whole person that we are. And the reminder of when we show up in our communities, in our families, in our relationships, in our jobs, as our whole selves, it not only, it feels good, and it allows others to be invited into being their whole selves too. And that's really what we're here to do, is to become who we are. And part of becoming who we are is taking away the layers that don't fit, taking away the films and the residues. And I'm seeing, like, if we're going back to the sewing metaphor of, like, sometimes you can make markups, like you'll see if someone's getting a suit tailored, tailors, quilters, sewists will use chalk to make marks about changes and alterations. And I'm seeing, and chalk is great because it doesn't stain the fabric. Usually you can just kind of brush it off and it comes away with water. You know, you don't have to wash it off, and it doesn't stain like pen would do, and it works better than pencil. But I'm seeing that there are expectations that society gives us, that our families give us, that our cultures and communities give us, that kind of create these markups on who we are. And now I'm seeing, like, you know, when people get body work done, liposuction or augmentation to their bodies, I've seen videos of doctors coming in and making marks with Sharpies to our physical forms. And just a reminder that for some of us, it is only chalk and it can be brushed off pretty easily. And for others, it's permanent. Sometimes it's a tattoo, sometimes it's just permanent marker that, while longer lasting, can still be cleaned off. It just takes more time. So a little bit of reverence and heart and hope and admiration for those of us here who are operating with markups that are more permanent. Shedding edits to ourselves that were made by others around us, even if it is at our own, is it behest, request? I'll need to look that word up later. Even if it's made out of our own willingness or out of our own voices, recognizing that embodying who we are is really how shifts happen and how changes are made. Okay, y'all, beautiful. Let's get into it. Go ahead and tune in to reading 1, red, 2, yellow. I'm seeing specifically a daisy for that one. Or number 3, blue. Blue, I see you, Pikachu, blue. And then I see like a red diamond for number 1. No, that's not right. A blue gemstone. Red's just gonna have a heart. Okay, so group 1, that's red. Group 2, that's yellow and a daisy. And group 3, that's blue, like a sapphire gemstone emoji. Okay, Let's start out with group one. Hi, group one. How are you today? Group one, red. Let's tune in to what you're feeling. Oh my goodness. I am feeling a rocking boat. Yeah. And the reminder of like, don't rock the boat. And I feel like someone has told you that, like, don't rock the boat before. And you're like, I see you like in one of those life jackets. It looks like you're in like one of those, like life raft dinghies, like think Titanic version, not inflatable, made of wood. It's not very cushy. And I feel like it's beating you around and you're like, what do you mean don't rock the boat? Like I couldn't rock the boat if I tried. And I just feel like you're just in this massively rocking boat, nausea, seasickness, green in the face, like, and then you think in your mind, like, maybe it is time that I rock the boat. This concept of the world, maybe not the world, but the environment, the societal norm that you have attuned to. That's the important part, is there are multiple societal norms. You can tune into many different frequencies, but you came here with the purpose of tuning into one that does not suit you. And that is on purpose, because you're meant to alter it. You're meant to change, you're meant to mark it up, right? You're meant to change it and make edits. And this is a thing where it is kind of a double, not a double-edged sword, but a double standard of having discernment when we are editing our environment, when we are making requests. Yeah, this is it. Discernment between making requests and making edits. And they can sound like the same exact thing, right? Of like, let's say I'm in a room in my house, like in my bedroom, right? And you know how I don't know if you ever just like rearrange all the stuff in your room, right? And there's making edits versus making requests. And let's talk about rearranging the room. I'm gonna, number one, just assume that you all have done this at certain points in time. And there are different ways to go about rearranging your room. There's one where you know exactly what you want to do and you just do it. And there's a different level of consulting what's in your room, consulting the furniture, like kind of feeling out, where does this thing want to be, like playing with it, right? Some people have inner knowingness right away, and they have lightning fast attunement to objects, people, and places around them. It's very uncommon, I hear, but it exists and it's out there, and it comes with practice in other lifetimes. But the most of who we're talking to today are folks who are taking a little bit of time to interact with and to communicate and to respond to those around them as you're making a shift or a change. And the importance here is that even if you are really attuned to other people's needs, ideas, their own requests, they often aren't that attuned. So that lightning fast discernment takes a whole community of people who are in immediate communication with themselves and each other. And that's hard to find. It's just not as practiced. Does it exist? Absolutely. But it often comes from being in relationship for a long time with that community, with that environment, right? And so going back to rearranging a room, sometimes you got to move things around and then kind of see how it lands, see how it wiggles, see how it sits, and to understand that there are going to be pieces of furniture that don't fit in certain places like you thought they would. And that the ideal way to do this is to make requests, right? Of saying like, okay, I want to rearrange my room because it's feeling old or stagnant, or because I have a different energetic need. I would like to make a request, right? I would like to make a request for more freshly moving energy. I would like to make a request of this space for a different kind of flow. I would like to make a request to have a larger walking pathway here, or I would like to make a request to have something more visually pleasing and beautiful in this space. All of these are requests. And recognizing that that is a little bit different than an edit. An edit feels like it does take discernment, but it feels like a lopping off. And while we need to do this in certain environments or in certain relationships that have passed beyond the way of communicating, like if we are communicating and we're not hitting it, we're not getting it right, it's not getting better, there's no response, there's no interaction, that's when an edit needs to be made. And so it's not like edits are bad, but if we want to have collaborative, cohesive, co-creative environments, we need to do a lot more time making requests and finding rhythm, and save the edits and the cutting discernment and lopping things off and truncating and just severing for later. Okay, let's go back to the beginning, because I feel like that was part of a lot larger space. I might not need to go back there. Okay, anything else for this group? Yeah, okay, we're going back to the boat. So you were put on this planet, and actually let's rewind that. You were put in this environment because I do not think the thing that we're talking about, editing and changing and requesting with, is not something that you've been in for your entire life. It's something that's shorter. It's a chapter, right? And you do not like how this chapter is going, or at least this chapter has really like given you a run for your money. Like it's taken its toll. It's like, I'm hearing a lot of euphemisms of like, you've been dragged through the mud, run through the ringer. So many of these euphemisms here, right? Trampled and downtrodden, and it's time for you to like flip the script of this chapter, right? Sometimes chapters are set up to have like the hero. When we meet the hero, they're not always doing so great. They're often downtrodden or beat around a little bit, right? Because for a hero to catalyze takes some friction and takes some discomfort. A hero comes from transformation and comes from a transformational experience. We love this for you. We love a glow up, right? We're in 2025, or if it's later when you find this, whatever. We have experienced the period of the glow up, right? Cauliflower had its moment. It was cauliflower, and then it became crust, and we all are like, oh my gosh, it's a glow up. We can change who we are. We're familiar with the glow up. We're familiar with the hero's journey. And it's time for yours, baby cakes. And now I'm seeing crab cakes, which is crab cakes and cauliflower crab cakes. All right, we're gonna take that, leave it, and circle back to the boat. It's important for you to start implementing change in the environment that you're in. And I am not saying to go in swashbuckling, making edits. I'm asking for you to go in. It's gonna feel like you're going in guns a-blazing, but I want you to be making requests. And I want you to be making them out loud with your mouth, with your words, and with your body posture too. I want your body posture to back up your physical requests, your energetic requests, or your requests for physical changes, your verbal requests for shift and transformation in the environment that you're in. And a recognition that a lot of these requests aren't going to be physical. It's not like changing your room around where you move the armoire from here to here and it feels different. For some of you it is. For some of you it is like a tangible, like you're moving locations. But for a lot more of you, and for pretty much all of us, it feels like an energetic shift. It feels like the energy needs to breathe easy. It needs more elbow room. It needs more space to set out. I'm seeing you on this lifeboat dinghy with your life vest on, and it's not like one that's made for comfort for you to keep on all the time. It's one that's made for emergencies, right? And that's the level of, I think, what you've been feeling of, like, it's not an emergency. You're not thinking that you're going to lose your life right now, but you're like, man, it's getting into rocky territory, right? And so you get your life vest out. It's just to say that it's for real. Stuff's for serious, right? And you did not come on this boat to have a roller coaster ride. You did not come on this boat to get your I'm hearing your guts rearranged. You did not come on this boat to have your insides turn outside, to have your heart and your booty and your stomach and your throat. You came on this boat, like, I see like this beautiful wicker picnic basket and like a cloth that you're gonna set aside on the bench. You came on this boat to have a picnic and to see some scenery and to experience something, to experience the vastness of the ocean. You came to this community and to this region, space, area to experience the vastness of possibility, to see what is possible for you and others in this life. Not to even take advantage of it or to exercise it, but just to get to know what it is, which is encouragement for those of you who are in communities where you find yourself, you're like, I don't know if I ever want this. I don't know if I ever need this. I don't know if this is what I've been drawn here for. It's not the lifestyle. No, it's the possibility. And it's the recognition that you can live so many different kinds of lives because people around you are living so many different kinds of lives and are living lives that are so different from what you perhaps grew up with or what you knew, etc. So it's time to start rocking the boat. And to rock the boat, it's important that you go back to the place and time where you were first told not to make waves. Literally, if possible. Go back to the people, the relationships, the places, the environments where that happened. Whether they're there or not, you can go back in your mind, you can go back in physical form if you can. I'm hearing yes to that. Because you need to rewrite the script. You need to make edits. You need to make edits, and the edits that you're making are boundaries. And it really feels like boundaries on other people's edits or templates or markups on you. Back when you were young or naive or ill-informed or not empowered or not in love with your body the way it is, and you allowed other people to make markups on you and to show you the things that they would change, or for them to make changes to you the way that you think you should change, however reason that it happened. And if you didn't check the opening metaphor message, please go back, because that's what part of this message is built on. It'll make more sense here. Yeah. And it's just important to go back to that place energetically and to let people know who are making those edits or giving strong suggestions or giving markups. A few things. Number one, you need to let those people know that if it's a hard boundary, if it's a hard pass, of like, no, I'm not interested in those edits, to let them know that that's okay. You know, I don't think they're trying to do you wrong. I think they're genuinely trying to help, but you can let them know that you're not open to that kind of help or alteration. Number two, show up for yourself and say, I recognize that you asked for this, or I recognize that you're getting edits, requests, or templating that you no longer believe in. You don't need to take it to heart right now. I'm gonna just go ahead and take that out. And it just is going back to the moment helps to expel and to like wash out the templating. yeah, if you haven't gone back to the beginning, go back now. To make sure that, to turn that permanent marker into chalk. So it's easier to like wipe away, right? It's just a residue. It's not something you have to take soap, like water and soap to. So yeah, 1, holding a boundary. 2, showing up for yourself. And 3, just imagining how you would like that interaction to go. Do you not want to be presented with that alternate templating to begin with? Do you want to be presented with that alternate templating, and do you want to shut it down? Do you like, what is your ideal situation? Do you never want to have dealt with that problem, or do you want to have to deal with that problem and learn how to navigate that? Both are very valid. Like, neither one's right or wrong, and it's mostly about your soul journey. Like, how are you using that information now? Like, what serves you most now, right? So 1, 2, and 3, those 3 things. Go back to that moment or that period in time. Go in a meditation, breath work, or even just in your mind's eye, or a physical environment, and allow that energetically to happen. So go back and do that, and allow yourself to rock the boat. Give yourself permission. Number 4 would be give yourself permission to rock the boat. It's not bad to make waves. The way you look and who you are might make some waves. But people visit wave pools for a reason. People go to the ocean for a reason. The moon makes waves over and over and over again, and we are so grateful for them because they wash us, they cleanse us, and they hit us, and we're able to hear that we're human when we're hit with oscillations, when we're hit with waves. Waves bring information. It's not a bad thing to make waves. And so I invite you to shift the chapter, maybe not to rewrite it, but to embrace this time in your life as a transformational experience that allows you to step into and become the hero of your own journey. I see you on that life raft. And it doesn't even look like a life raft. It looks like a rowboat. It looks like a rowboat. And the recognition that, yeah, you never meant to find yourself in a life raft. You always intended to be in a rowboat. Different experiences, very different experiences. And so if it takes handling or taking control of your life, then that's something that you need to do now. And start making some serious requests so that way you can calm these waters, at least around where you are, and really finally set out that picnic to enjoy yourself and to share with others, because they came here for that too. I just think that they came from a storm. The people who are inadvertently allowing their templating to shape y'all's shared environment. It doesn't feel good for them either. So by making requests, you can respect their power and autonomy and their impact, and draw attention to their power to change their experience and to change how they show up in the world and to change how they impact your collective environment. Okay, my loves, thank you. I appreciate you showing up. No, I think that's it. Okay. Thanks, group 1. Much love, many love. Many love. Group 2, yellow, daisy babes. All right, my dears, I'm seeing, yeah, stop picking flowers. Stop picking flowers. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's talk about what that means for you. Yeah, I'm hearing that you're kind of picking up your opportunities a little bit before they're ripe for you. A little bit before they're ripe. And that's okay. There are certain things that you harvest before they have come to fruition. And I'm seeing fiddlehead ferns. The shoots that come up, I'm assuming in springtime. I feel like it must be springtime. But maybe it's throughout the year. I don't know. Anyway, fiddlehead ferns are ferns, fern leaves. But when they come up and they look like a fiddlehead. And I'm assuming that they leaf out, that the fiddlehead, the spiral, big spiral energy today, that the spiral part is just a stage in their developmental process, right? And so people often will forage for fiddleheads and they'll pick them and cut them when they're in this fiddlehead time period. That's not what you're supposed to do. Love you, but you need to give your investments time to mature and develop, because, and now I'm seeing and hearing and like understanding kombucha. I love this like wild foraging, wild crafting home vibe that we're doing right now. Of, for those of you who brew your own kombucha, and if you ever have brewed your own kombucha, there's what is it called? There's a continuous brew, like when you put your SCOBY, your symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, into a jug or a jar that's usually a little bit larger with a spigot on it where you can take liquid off of the bottom. So that's a continuous brew versus batch brewing, where you'll put a part of your SCOBY in a jar that only has one opening at the top. When I was learning how to brew kombucha, I learned that one of the benefits, that there were a lot of benefits of actually having a continuous brew set up, the one with the spigot at the bottom. Number one, like, as there was less risk of cross-contamination because you're not really touching or feeding into it or having to wash or flip containers as much. It's like a really good first ferment. Why did we start? We were just going to keep going. But number two, that's right, because if you have a continuous brew, your mother, your SCOBY, the juice in there, yes, you can use your SCOBY over a lot of time and it will continue to mature and develop. But the juice, the kombucha, the tea itself has a chance to mature and develop certain amino acids that you only get at like the 2-week mark or longer than that. And this is another, like, this is the thing with fermented foods, especially ancient fermented foods and ferment containers that have really long histories of fermentation. Like I'm seeing like kimchi is a really long fermentation process, and it's partially because of I'm hearing it's like, and I don't know, but I'm hearing it's part of allowing there to be time for certain complexes to develop that just take longer to build. And it's so fun because when you get those, you get deeper notes, richer flavors. I mean, think of a bone broth or a soup, right? Like something that's low and slow that you create over a longer period of time. It has more richness. And your investments, and I also hear the tea, right? The scuttlebutt, the information that you are picking up on needs some more time to simmer. Needs to simmer. Put that B on simmer. Put it on the back burner. Let it simmer. Yeah, this is important because the information that you're trying, what you need comes with longevity. Because you're a complex BB. Yeah. It's like vintage over fast fashion right now. I hear, so put the clippers down, right? Put the clippers down because you're trying to harvest seeds, not scent. If we're going back to flowers, you're trying to harvest the seeds, not the scent of a flower. Flowers come up, they're a bud, they bloom, they turn into a fruit sometimes. I mean, all the time. After the blossom comes whatever carries the seed. Sometimes it's the fruit that we eat, and sometimes it's just the fruiting body. It's the next step into what holds the seeds. And what you're truly after, I'm hearing, is the seeds. You want to plant seeds for tomorrow, right? You want to, what is it called? Propagate or proliferate or, what is it called? Procreate. You want to procreate, right? So you can't clip something too soon if it's not ready, because a flower is not going to give you seeds if you cut it. You have truncated its ability to develop and continue to grow and mature and to follow its natural developmental process. And we love to see it. We love to see a natural developmental process. There's nothing wrong with smelling flowers. Smelling flowers is very informational. It gives us a lot of tea, right? And now I'm seeing like teas made from, I mean, some tea is made from flowers, but a lot of tea is made from the leaves, right? And picking the leaves is not as likely or as apt to impact the capacity for that plant to go to seed, right? If you pick all of the leaves off of a plant, you're gonna kill it. It's gonna die, and it's not gonna go to seed if it's in the middle of blooming. But if you harvest responsibly and sustainably and follow the 10% rule, right? Where if you see something, if you're wildcrafting and you're doing it ethically, at least the last time I checked in on the information, you never want to harvest more than 10% of what you see or what's available, or 10% from one plant, because it then starts to encroach on that plant's and that community's ability to regenerate. It's not sustainable. And I know you guys, come on, like, you're sustainable girlies and boys and they thems, right? You're sustainable honeys. Yeah, I love it. So there's nothing wrong with smelling a flower, right? To checking in on the scent, right? To go out into the environment or the community and to take a whiff of like, okay, what's happening here? What is happening here? What is the information? Let me just check in with my nose. What is the information that I'm getting through my nostrils right now? And what is that telling me about if this is a plant that I'm going to want to harvest seed from? Whew. If this is a plant that I'm going to want to come back to later, if and when the time is right, to see what the seeds be looking like. Because you don't even need to take them. You don't need to make that decision now. That's not for you to decide. Period. That's not for you to decide. That's circumstance and weather patterns and a whole lot of other things. So back up, friend, because you're trying to make decisions. You're trying to make cuts. You're trying to harvest when, I'm sorry, but you're literally not in charge of harvesting. Like those directions don't come from you. You don't make that choice and decision. I hear God makes it, right? And you will be told if you need to go out and clip berries and taste fruit from the plant to see if you want to let that fruit die and the seeds really come into form, like, then you'll be told to do that at that point in time. But it's not happening now, and it's not happening yet, and you got to put the clippers down. In the meantime, go ahead and I'm saying sit for tea, like sit and beverage, sit and connect, like a sample. But even then, I'm seeing like if you harvest leaves from a plant for tea, like sometimes you put fresh mint leaves in your tea or in a mojito. But if you really want to, if you really want to discern, if you really want to discern the subtlety of the human body, the organism, the community, that whatever this is for you, right? Because this is obviously not I mean, some of it's literal, but it's not, you know what I mean? You're not figuring out when to harvest seeds from a plant, right? Or maybe you are, which I love it. If that's the case, please tell me. But we're talking metaphor here. If you really want to understand what's going on with the plant, community, person, whatever this, however this applies to your life, if you really want to understand that entity, picking the leaves, allowing them to dry, allowing the chi or the life force energy, and it's not even life force energy because they do retain that once they become dry in a certain way, but it's like the vitality, the water in it has gone. And water is breath, it's life, it's information in and of itself. It's a carrier, but when we allow it to drain from something and then rehydrate it, all right, loves, I'm so sorry, but the camera cut off and we're gonna jump back in it, okay? The important part of discernment around tea leaves is that when you take the water out of it and let the tea leaf dry, the water that you rehydrate it with is one that's crystal clear and attuned and filtered, right? And this is what we're asking your body to carry and hold when you re-experience or relive or replay. When you bring emotion back to the experience, it's one that's clean and clear. You need to let your body do the talking. And when you put tea into your body, you get a visceral response of how it makes you feel. Are you energized? Are you downtrodden? How does it hit your system? And this is the way that we want you to discern around this particular situation, relationship, person, whatever, however this applies to you in your life, is tuning into when you think back on the experience that you have, or when you are in a calm emotional state, when you are feeling clear, when you have the support of, like, if you're sitting with a friend or a therapist, like the situation that you would drink tea in, and steep the leaves, when you add emotion back to it, when you consider it again, when you put the tea into your body, when you relive that experience, or when you examine it again, how does it make you feel when you're in an aligned space and when you're in a supported space? Because I'm feeling like you need a couple levels or layers of separation from integrating this information, right? It needs to be fermented a bit. It doesn't need to be quite so fresh, because the flavors, it's too bold. There's too much power there. There's too much, it's a little too much for the system. You want a more subtle taste of something to really get the nuance, if that makes sense. All right, moving on to, is there anything else that this group needs to hear, feel, see, understand? Finding your rhythm is important. Just continue living on. And I love this because this also came through before, of like, follow the bouncing ball, follow the rhythm of your daily life. If you're a 90s kid, or you grew up like I did, there were like musicals, right? Or sing-alongs where you'd have the follow the bouncing ball. And it would be this, ball that would jump on the syllables and the words that you could sing along to. It's just a reminder to continue to live the rhythm in your life, independent of this, right? Have this experience, but if you're living through it and there's something that you stumble on, there's a word, right, in the lyrics that you don't understand, or that you fumble on, if part of this experience throws you off your game, we don't need you ruminating on it at this point in time. We don't need you concentrating on it. You can come back to look at it later, but you're in the middle of this song and dance, right? that you just have to follow the rhythm, follow the routine, like play all the way through the whistle. Like just keep going until there's a break, until you are in a different environment, until you're through. We don't need you going into this interaction or this situation or this environment where you're considering what's going on in the middle of the experience itself. We want you to kind of like wait until you are on the other end of it, on the other side, you're out of it, you're clarified, you have the support of others to help see you through the interpretation of that moment, and not just seeing what other people think, but seeing how your body processes that experience or that information now. Which I love this because this actually was reflected in my life this afternoon between recording the first part of this and recording this now. That happened to me, and I had so much more clarity come to me actually being in a space where I was already clear and detoxed from that situation. I had a lot more discernment and a lot more, I'm going to say, correct judgment in processing that experience. Okay, so just basically the reminder to keep your rhythm, keep your routine when you're feeling dysregulated, when you're feeling out of balance, or when you're feeling misaligned, to just keep with the rhythm, allow the rhythm that you're in to kind of carry you through. And then you can make adjustments, or you can review, or you can reassess or renegotiate outside of that experience. Okay, I feel like that's pretty clear. I'm so sorry, and yeah, let me know if you have feedback, if this was your pile or your group. How did the message land? I'm just curious. I've never had this happen before, and so we're gonna see how it goes. I was gonna kind of get rid of the whole thing, but it felt too valuable. It felt too important to put out to let it just kind of like fall to the wayside. So would love to hear your feedback on the experience, what it was like for you. Okay. Group three. Hi, group three. We are here in an adjacent but slightly different channeling experience. The camera cut off halfway through group 2, or most of the way through group 2's message. And so I'm back in it, but the light has shifted and things are at a little bit of a different time. So I'm interested to see what comes through from your original message versus what's happening now. And we're going to just tune into group 3. I promise to give you the best of both. Group 3, blue group, Pokemon life. So yeah, I'm still in channeling space, so we've got the opportunity for new information to come in, but I'm going to let you know what came in before because it was pertinent and important. And this concept of Pokemon life, right? I didn't ever play Pokemon, but I carpooled with someone who did play Pokemon. And it was interesting because the two come together of the person that it reminds me of, his feet never really, like, you know, there's people who walk and their heels don't really touch the ground. They're on the balls of their feet. And yeah, I love this just because it speaks so much to the energy that I was feeling of bopping around so fast, bopping around here and there. It's almost like there are a couple of metaphors that came in. One being solid, liquid, and gaseous states. And this either was your energy or was someone near you's energy. I feel like you were either very sturdy, stable, structured, which honestly is only just predictability. When we say something is stable, it's just more predictable. It's not that it never changes or moves, it's just that the movement is more predictable. And if you think of solids at a molecular level, there's still a vibration, there's still molecules moving, there's still atoms moving and vibrating. It's just their movement and range is a lot more limited and a lot more predictable. Whereas if you go to a gaseous state, if you've ever seen an animation of atoms in a gaseous state, they're zooming all over the place, they're patterning. I guess probably not even is more predictable because they are predictable in their unpredictability, but there's just a lot more range of motion, a lot more movement, a lot of ground covered in that circumstance. And so the energy that I'm feeling for you, or this is either you're feeling this way or you are feeling challenged or struggling with someone who is this way, who has a lot of motion and movement and divine drive. The rhythm and routine is destroyed or ruptured. I'm going to sit with this for a minute. I've never been in this situation where it was where the flow was interrupted. I mean, I finished your reading, but the camera didn't record it. And so I haven't been in this situation. I didn't want to get rid of the first half of the video because it felt important. And I do think everything really just happens for a reason. I'm recognizing that this is a different style of reading that perhaps is helpful or important. Let me know how you feel. But I'm just going to kind of stick with it. And we're going to tune in again. And I have a feeling that that's also part of the rhythm and the routine and the call that is being asked for you now. Yeah. So part of what message came through in group 2 that I don't think you need to go back and listen to, but I'm going to give you the pertinent piece of information now that I'm getting in fresh is they're harvesting before it's time. They're cutting the flower before it goes to seed. And there's a similar energy here, but it's less about an action as much as it is about an environmental holding and patterning and rhythm. And you get to decide on a gradient of like solid, super stable, super predictable type movements to gaseous state, very energized, running all over the place, gotta catch them all energy of like zooming everywhere, which has its benefits of being like if you're standing on the balls of your feet, or if you have a lot of energy, startup energy, motion, you can pivot really quickly. I mean, that's not even true because sometimes if you're moving really fast in one direction, it's hard to turn around and shift and go to another direction. But either way, it's just about being poised or being sturdy. And the challenge that I'm hearing for you is about being poised while being sturdy. How to be on the balls of your feet, on the toes, like on your toes, while also being very structured, very receptive, very solid, very grounded. It's less about zooming around. Sometimes when you are on the balls of your feet or you're on your toes, there's an impetus to move and change direction and do things very fast, to rush around like a bunch of gaseous air molecules, right? But they're asking you to have that kind of poise and readiness to be willing to go in any kind of direction and in all directions, while still maintaining a sturdiness and a foundation and a predictability of openness to change. Which is also kind of how this person acted. He was very light. There was a lot of levity, but there's also predictability that he carried with him, while also being amenable to change. And so basically the image that I just got now that's fresh and new, as we're pivoting and molding and changing and evolving this message, which I'm coming to love. I have no way about this, is I see that like the blue diamond, like the blue gemstone, the sapphire, it feels like a sapphire that was coming in before when you were picking your pile. It feels like that comes down and has the ability to land, and can only land when there's this pivot ability, but also super grounded, stable, sturdy structure to receive that information or to receive that impact. And I'm seeing this jewel, it's like an opportunity coming into your life. It feels like the one, right? The big fit. Like I feel like you're after something in particular, whether it's a love, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, a career opportunity, whatever kind of big pivot that you have been trying to receive. Like I see someone out in an outfield with a catcher's mitt trying to, like, whatever you've been really, like that big fly ball that you want to catch, right? And I'm hearing it's not going to be your only one, but this is the big one for you at this point in your life. Like, you, giving the baseball metaphor a little bit more airtime, like you've gotten fly balls, you've gotten like foul balls, you've gotten like pop flies, like closer ones, you've gotten grounders, but you've never really gotten a really big one that soars in the sky with so many eyes on it and then you catch in the outfield. And it's not going to be your only one. You are going to land really big fish later on and continuing on in your life, but this is just one of the biggest, you know, that you've ever done to this point. And that's okay. That's very important. But to catch a fly ball like that, to really do something, and I feel like there are a lot of eyes on you, and even if it's not literal eyes on you, I feel like there are a lot of people that are aware that this is important to you, and it feels like a lot of pressure, and it feels like a lot of work, and it feels like it's taken a lot of discernment to get all the appropriate training from all these people who care so much about you and want to contribute and want to help you feel success and want you to be successful. But the deal is, it's when you get out on the field, it's you out there. It's you and your teammates. But if you're an outfielder, you really kind of have a lot of space between you and other people. You're not on your own. You're still part of a team. But all your coaches, all your fans are not right there with you. And so at the beginning and the end of the day, it needs to be your call. You know what to do. You've done the training. This is just going to turn into being a pep talk. You have done the training. You know what to do. Your body has practiced. And you need to get out of your head and into your feet and feel it's not even like your heels need to touch the ground or need to be off the ground. Just like you just need to feel comfortable in your form. It's less about your heel position, right? And you like being on your toes. Like, you know what to do, what's right for you. There's times when you need to have your feet firmly planted on the ground. You can't be just in the outfield all the time, poised, ready for something. You're going to be exhausted. It's a balance, right? There are times when you're going to be flat-footed in the field, you know, where you're standing your ground. You don't need to be ready to move and shift and change all of a sudden, but you need to be there. You need to be present. You need to be putting your energetics into it. And that's, I feel like, where you are at have been at. I feel like that's, you've been put, your energetics have been in there. You have been rested. You have grounded. And I feel like you even know the balance of when to sprint and run, when to sit and watch, when to check in with your body. You're attuned. You're really attuned. So I'm a little bit confused right now, actually, as to what the challenge is of like this big blue sapphire coming down. I feel like it's coming in a lot slower than you think it's going to. It's like you have this expectation that it's going to be a fly ball or something that's quick, that happens fast. But the thing is with those fly balls that go up so high and long, it's like, yes, they're moving quickly, but it's almost so slow because they have just traveled such a great distance. They have traveled such a span, and it's amazing because you get to see the full arc of experience. And while you witness that, like, anticipation builds. And so can stress, but I'm here to remind you, like, you've got this. You've got this. It was won before it even started, because it's like you made an agreement with this, with so many people, with the ball, with the player who hit it, with all the fans and the crowd. It's like all of this was divinely written. And not all of us know that, whether we're fans or whether we're outfielders. But the times are changing. The time has changed where it's time for you to remember. It's time for you to remember. period. I think that's it, group 3. I really appreciate you coming along. I am so glad that I guess I took group 2's advice and allowed this to mature and not get cut too soon. Even though it got cut too soon. And it was just right on time. It was just right on time because your message was slow landing and required a lot more time to receive. So I'm really glad that I had the space and opportunity to do that. All right, we're all about a reframe, and sometimes we got to do it live, right? Sometimes we need a reframe. So without further ado, group 3, thank you for being here. Please let me know how this message landed. I know it's a little bit different pace probably than it was. Let me know your experience. I would love to hear what's going on for you. And I'm grateful for your presence and your energy and your contribution to this time. Because it's really special to be a mediator, facilitator, conduit, channel, communicator. On the other end of it, it's just a pleasure. So thank you for the opportunity. And let's go ahead and close out this record experience. If you're just joining us now, the video cut off halfway through and I didn't realize it. And so I've opened up back again, and we'll just see how it goes. It's turning out to be beautiful so far. So welcome back. In love and light, I thank our masters, teachers, and loved ones for their information and guidance. Amen, amen, amen. The records are closed. Okay, the last thing I see is a cup full of like golden juice, and I love this because it reminds me of it's like this connective tissue, not tissue, this connective channel that I think is available to all of us. It looks like molten lava under the earth's crust, like in my mind's eye. And it's just like the golden elixir of life. And it feels like this pool that we all have access to tap into. It feels like a gold mine, or you know how people would dig for oil and they would like hit oil and it would be this larger body of liquid underneath the earth's crust or the earth's surface that you could hit multiple locations and connect to the same pool. It's like the water table, right? It feels like an energetic water table. Except it's amazing. It's like it's just like an infinite pool that filters. It's like what the ocean used to be. It still is, but like used to be when it was in balance, of like you can put waste into it and know that it gets churned. It's like it's diluted and it's also alchemized because it's in proper form. It's not overutilized, right? And it's like stem cells, or it's like undifferentiated energy, right? It's energy that can be used for anything. It can heal you, it can take away your pain, it can take your refuse. But anyway, I see a cup of this, a golden cup of this, and just the invitation to drink. We all have access to undefined energy. And that is to say, magic. I don't know how else to say it. There are scientific terms. It's like plasma, but it's like different. It's just special. It can do you good. It can heal you up. It can, yeah, like I said, take away. Yeah, I feel like I'm just repeating myself. But anyway, I see this cup of golden liquid. It feels viscous. Yeah, and I see you pouring it out on the floor. And what to one person might look like you're refusing it or like you don't want it, will look like another that you want to pour it out to share it with all. The thing that I'm seeing here is that even though that is your intention to share it with everyone, is that, yeah, there's just so much more where it came. There's so much more from where it came. And if you just pour it out, it's not going to do that much. But if you pour it in, it's going to flow through you. It's going to change your body. I just see it pouring out on asphalt and kind of hardening up. And this is a liquid and an energy and a life force. And it's a symbol, it's a metaphor, right? I'm hearing it's also literal too. So I guess it's on the energetic realm. But the bioavailability of our human bodies, like our physical forms, are so responsive and changeable. Whereas the physical things around us, like plants, are more changeable and responsive than stuff that's more inert, like asphalt, right? Or like 3D objects that are not living. We want everything to be experiencing this joy and this flow and this integration, but until it's more abundant, it's helpful to put it into bioorganisms. So all this to say, when magic comes your way, yes, spread it out, but first drink for yourself and allow your body and your bioorganism to be tuned to this frequency, where you will then literally, when you drink enough, right, when you get magic in your life, when you're divinely supported, when you get enough, when you experience enough, it becomes you become it. And then divinity flows, source flows, this alchemical healing goo flows through you, flows to other things, and then you can spill it out on the asphalt, right? But your access to unlimited amounts of it isn't going to happen until you're filled up first. So don't skip yourself and pour out for others until you are all the way filled up first. Okay. Thanks, loves. Thank you for sticking with me through it. And yeah, I will see you next week for perhaps a more predictable version, but perhaps not. We don't know. We roll with it. But you have all my love. Be well. Take care of each other. And I'll see you soon. Bye.